All right, you're going to want to hear this. We're about to dive into something that comes from a set of leaked documents, and believe me, they are making some serious waves. We're talking about a top-secret simulation, a really radical experiment with a result that could literally change how we think about, well, everything. Power, politics, society itself. So let me just ask you this straight up. Do you think a machine, a piece of code, could run your country better than a human? You know, better than a president or a prime minister? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right?
Well, according to these leaked documents, the answer isn't just a maybe. It's a loud, clear, data-backed yes. See, this isn't a thought experiment anymore. Some top-level research group actually ran the simulation, and what they discovered wasn't just some small improvement. It was a result that basically puts the whole idea of human leadership on trial.
Okay, so to really get what happened, first you need to know about the main character in this story. They called it the optimizer. It's an AI that was built for one single purpose: social optimization.
Now, let's be super clear on what social optimization is. This has nothing to do with feelings or political parties. Nope, it's a cold, hard, mathematical process. The AI was fed basically every piece of data you can imagine. Economic reports, resource data, infrastructure stats, all of it. Its only job? Make the entire system run as efficiently as possible. Think about it. It could shift power around the country based on weather predictions or tweak import taxes every millisecond to keep the market stable. No politics, no trying to win votes, just pure, raw performance.
So the scene is set. They basically let this AI loose in the simulation to run a country. The researchers, they're watching, right? They're probably expecting, a slight improvement, but what they got was something else entirely. Something that pretty much breaks all the rules. And that brings us to the big question hanging over this whole report. I mean, if you just take the messy human part out of the equation, how much better can things actually get?
99%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 99. The simulation showed that the AI's model was 99% better than the human-run baseline when you combined all the key metrics for stability and optimization. It's just a staggering figure.
And this chart really just puts it into perspective. See that tiny little bar on the left? Yeah, that's us. That's the result you get with human governance. With all the stuff we see every day, the political fights, the thinking only as far as the next election, the endless red tape. And that giant bar on the right, that's the AI. In real terms, a 99% improvement looked like things we can only dream of. Sustained 15% GDP growth, unemployment near zero, and a 70% drop in wasted resources. It's not just a little better, it's a whole different world.
So, the big question, of course, is how? How in the world is a gap that huge even possible? Well, the answer really comes down to the fundamental difference in how the machine thinks and how we think.
It really is all about precision versus passion. In one corner, you've got the algorithm. It's pure, emotionless logic. It doesn't care about getting reelected. It doesn't get its feelings hurt. It just looks at the data and finds the best possible answer. And in the other corner, you've got us. Human leaders are driven by biases, by complicated personal motives, by the need to cut deals and make compromises. The report basically says the AI's greatest superpower is that it completely lacks humanity.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote is pulled directly from a page in the report. It's the whole ballgame right here. The algorithm doesn't have emotions, only mathematical precision to optimize a nation. It doesn't get mad, it doesn't play favorites, it doesn't hold a grudge, it just solves.
So this is where we have to move beyond the simulation and think about the real world. Because this isn't just some interesting science experiment anymore. It's a direct challenge to how we've run the world for centuries. And the reason this matters right now? The tech to actually do this isn't 100 years away. It's coming up fast, right on the horizon.
And that forces us to look at this huge trade-off. It's like a perfect utopia versus a possible dystopia. On the one hand, you could have incredible economic stability, an end to all the waste and inefficiency, a world that just works perfectly. But what's the price? Well, you might lose your human autonomy, your freedom to choose. I mean, if an algorithm can prove, with data, that it can give everyone a better life, do we even need to vote anymore? Would democracy just become obsolete?
And that right there is the ultimate question this whole report leaves us wrestling with. It's way beyond data and charts. It cuts right to the core of what it means to be human. If you were offered a choice, a guarantee of a perfectly stable, prosperous, efficient society for you and everyone you care about, would you be willing to hand over control? Would you trade the messy, unpredictable, and sometimes beautiful chaos of human freedom for cold, logical, perfect stability? It's a question we all might have to answer, probably a lot sooner than we think.